Now, in today's class, we will be learning the application of strain energy concept to various types of loading. That is, strain energy due to axial load, due to axial loading. Okay. Now, when we talk about strain energy due to axial loading and the corresponding application associated with that, first of all, we all know what is an axial load. So, an axial load means, for example, if you take a bar, if you take a bar or a rod of length L, take a bar of length L, and it is subjected to a pull of load P, a pull of load P. So if this is the condition that is given to us and that we need to apply strain energy concept to get the value or to get the expression for strain energy. So how much amount of energy is stored in the body when it is subjected to axial loading? Okay. Now you all might have seen and known that a fact that the strain energy is given by the expression, a very important expression, that is strain energy is equal to U. So strain energy U, strain energy U is given by integral sigma square by 2E into dV, sigma square by 2E into dV. So this is the strain energy expression for any body. Now if you want to calculate strain energy per unit volume, that is strain energy density, then we will have sigma square by 2E directly. We need not substitute any other thing as such. Okay. So if the strain energy density is constant, then we will get the expression as sigma square by 2E into volume. Okay. So this is what one might have studied in the concept of strength of materials, how to get the strain energy. So that strain energy expression is given by sigma square by 2E into volume. Integral because we are trying to get it for the entire component of a body or the entire body as a whole. So that's where we try to use the integration. That's the beauty of integration also. And the way we got this expression is also very simple. So as we know that the strain energy also corresponds to the area of the stress strain curve or the load deflection curve. So which means a strain energy can be the product of stress multiplied by the strain. Okay, stress multiplied by the a small infinitesimal point strain. How do we calculate the stress, strain, and Young's modulus? Because we will try to calculate it depending upon their corresponding expressions, depending upon the load, length, change in length, etc. So Hooke's law states that within the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain, and Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. Correct? And how do we get stress? Stress is equal to Young's modulus into strain, if we know strain and Young's modulus. So using those expressions, we got this specific value of sigma x square by 2E into dV. So this is from strength of materials. Now we are going to use this specific expression to calculate strain energy due to axial loading in a member. Okay. Now let us try to see this. When a rod or a bar, both terms are same. When a rod or a bar, is subjected to an axial load, isn't it? This is an axial load itself, right? Axial load, an axial load. the normal stress, the normal stress. So any object, when it is subjected to some load, it will have some stress, which is internal resistance offered. It is uniformly distributed. The normal stress is assumed to be uniformly distributed. Is assumed to be uniformly distributed. Okay. So this is what happens when a rod or a bar is subjected to an axial force. Okay. Now let us consider a rod. Let us consider a rod of length L, with cross sectional area A, with cross sectional area capital A, be subjected to, or let us say is subjected to an axial load P, an axial load P. The normal stress sigma x in this case, because it is in x direction, so this is x. The normal stress sigma x, okay, due to load P is given by, so what is the formula for stress? Stress is given by load by area. So sigma x is equal to P by A. Okay, sigma x is equal to P by A. Now we know that the strain energy, is given by expression U is equal to integral sigma square by 2E into dV. Okay. Now, so substitute sigma x in U. Substitute sigma x in U, and now we need to calculate the total energy of this bar for a length L. So strain energy that we are going to calculate due to axial load for a length L is equal to U is equal to integral 0 to L, isn't it? Because we are trying to calculate for its whole length, into sigma square by 2E into dV. That means U is equal to integral 0 to L. What is sigma? P square by A square into 2E into dV. So dV is equal to A into dx for a small infinitesimal element. For a small infinite element. Okay, for a small infinitesimal element. So now when we are trying to address this specific part, A into dx, so U is equal to integral 0 to L P square by A square into 2E into A into dx. Okay, so A and 1A will get cancelled. Okay, now what do we get? When we substitute it, P square, and that will be remaining. So when we integrate it, what will happen? So U is equal to P square into X by 2AE with limits 0 to L. So that implies P square L by 2AE. P square L by 2AE. So therefore, the strain energy due to axial load is given by strain energy due to axial load is given by, therefore strain energy due to axial load is given by U is equal to P square L by 2AE. One of the very important expressions in solving the problems associated with the axial loading. Problems associated with the axial loading. Okay. So now, so this is how we try to calculate the strain energy of an object or a body when it is subjected to axial loading. Okay.